You just tuned into the baddest podcast in the universe. If you don't know, now you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand something. I got my man in the building. This guy's been doing some wonderful things. But first, check him out.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
My man, Jeremy Dollar. What's up, my brother?
What's up, my man?
How you been?
Good, good. I appreciate you having me out here.
Man, you know the crazy part, a lot of people don't even understand the wonderful things that you do behind the scenes, bro. Like, you're this, like, brilliant business guy. Can you tell them just a little bit, even though they watched it, can you tell me a little bit and us a little bit about what does it feel like to do business like that behind the scenes?
I've always been a behind-the-scenes type of person. I don't care about the limelight, but just bringing things together and blessing people and just working in the community is a blessing. You know, that's my passion. And I always this quote I don't know where I saw that, but it says, "Money can't buy passion, and passion will bring the money." So it's a passion of mine, and it just flows out.
That's dope. That's dope. So, like, when you're involved in helping whoever you're helping, whether it's with your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brother, whatever, what is it about you that says, I don't mind helping? Like, in the business end, because the business end is what? You really don't get the accolades. People don't really know your name. They just see your face. What is that? What is that?
I mean, it's how I was raised. My parents don't too much care about the accolades. They believe in blessing people. And if you bless, you be a blessing. I know somewhere in the scripture, in the Bible, you know, between Genesis and Revelation, I can't quote the scripture all the way, but it's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But that's just how I've been raised. Ever since I was little, I always wanted to help people. And just being blessed and fortunate to see things, not just here in the United States, but get to travel around the world and see how it is really over there. It's just, I'm grateful for everything I have now and had it before and in the future, because it's different over there.
Yeah. But let's just go a little deeper.
Gotcha.
When you're doing these business deals, because they are business, even though it may be in the church or maybe away from the church, what is the feeling of the success of what your involvement was? What does that feel like for you?
It feels great. I mean, God blessed me with the ability and gave me the ability to do these type of things of networking or building a relationship with these different people, regardless if it's church or outside of church or anything I'm doing. It's a great feeling. I mean, it's hard to describe, but it's amazing to me.
Yeah. So growing up the way you grew up, with your dad and your mom, Pastor Creflo Dollar and Pastor Taffy Dollar, what was it like in the house for you, knowing that they are pastors and being such a young person? What is it really like in the house for you?
It's like a normal household. Just because they're pastors don't mean they like pushing the word down your throat or whatnot. It's just, hey, this your mom, this your dad, and, you know, of course, respect and obeying them and whatnot. But it's like a regular household. We have fun, we joke, we laugh. It's not like strict and rigid like everybody would think it is. Because me and my dad are like best friends. I would joke with my dad. Me and my dad joke all the time. Like, it's pretty bad because we like two old men fighting every single time. But it's in a good type of fight, but it's just like, it's funny to see because people like...
So like a debate, might have a debate about a certain issue or topic.
Right.
Okay.
Or I might push them into
Okay.
something and whatnot, and, you know, we go from there. We joke around a lot.
Right.
I definitely play practical jokes on him all the time.
But does Jeremy Dollar get in trouble? And if Jeremy Dollar gets in trouble, what's that like? Like, when I say trouble, I mean you're in trouble as a youngster.
Trust me. As my dad would tell everybody, he called me and my brother Aunt Satan spawns. He said, y'all Satan kids, because the stuff we used to do was terrible. But, I get talked to, yelled at or whatever. I remember one time I was 15, and rightfully so, I deserved a beating. I stole my mom's car and caught me.
Did what now?
I stole my mom's car.
You did what now?
Stole the car.
My man, you stole the car.
I told you, man, I was a little hellion back then. And
how old was you?
15.
15 years old.
Yep. And I ended up letting my brother drive, and I go to sleep, I wake up, and we in the neighborhood, and I'm looking like, why are we at the house? He's like, I just want to see if they was looking for us. I said, no. So, my guy brother standing on top of the steps, and he pointed, there they go right there, and I was like, man, go hide. So he pulled into another driveway, and I said, turn off the car, turn off the lights. And we see them pass by. And then wait about 10 minutes. I said, all right, let's go. As soon as we get to the front of the neighborhood, here come the car. I said, drive, drive, drive. So we cut down the back road of Cascade. We flying and whatnot. And see, my brother Aunt always had a conscience. I was the one that didn't have a conscience. I would deny, or I would like, I don't care.
I don't know.
I don't know. We get to the light, and I hear my dad on the side. To my son, turn the car off if you love me. He turned the car off. He crying. He take the keys out. I looked at him, and I said some words to him, and he get out the car, and then I get out the car, and I'm trying to prevent my god brother from fighting Aunt, and I didn't even hear my dad get out the car. All I know was 2 car doors on the ground.
There was 2
car doors on the ground. It was bam, bam, pick up in the air, and and I deserved it. And during that time, like I literally deserved that, and that's when I learned the what's that, old man strength versus young man strength.
Oh yeah. They got the skill. They got the skill. It's really the skill.
Right.
They've been out here long enough.
Right. So, cops came. They saw him. They was like, "Oh, hey, Pastor, how you doing?" And it was, I'm just giving some corrections to my son. It was okay. Have a good night. I'm looking like, why y'all leaving me? But end up, I deserve that. I really did.
So is there punishment in the house when something like that happens? What does that punishment look like?
No regular punishment. I was grounded for a month, couldn't drive, couldn't go nowhere. I had to be sitting at home, or if I wasn't working. But it was regular punishment like anybody else.
Right. So did you ever pull the Bible card? You're a pastor. You never pulled that.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
You just knew not to.
I knew not to.
Because you already knew.
It didn't matter, because if I was in the wrong, I was in the wrong. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not. And then plus, like I said, I can't quote the Bible, and I can't tell you where it says in the Bible like that.
Right.
So, except for
You know it's in there, but you don't know exactly.
I would paraphrase it, and my dad would be like, that's not what that says. I was like, well, you get the point. So that's how our relationship is. But like, I'm never going to try to pull the Bible out, because I know he know the Bible way more than me.
Right.
I always say him and Jesus like
Obviously,
first cousins.
Yeah, because he does it more. And
right.
It's like, if you don't see a friend in a while, you might forget their name. I'm saying a friend from a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, what's his name? But when you're doing it every day,
right,
it's hard to forget this stuff. So when you go outside the house and you're in school and you're trying to date and what's that like for you?
I didn't trust a lot of folks because I didn't know which angle they would come from. So for a long time, and even to this day, I would never say who I say my last name, or I'd either say Jeremy or JD and leave it at that. And it might be a month, maybe a year later, you find out who my parents is. And they was like, why you ain't say that? I was like, why does it matter? Okay. Because you're going to either accept me for me, or you're going to be like some typical person, like, oh, that's your parents, Is
that because they expect you to be like this dude, like, that's doing everything right? Or is it that you don't want the the stigma of a preacher kid or a PK, or what is it exactly?
I like genuine people, you know what I'm saying, to be around me. I'm always gonna be a PK. It is what it is. And you know that saying, PKs are the worst ones. I was probably on that level of the worst one during that time. But it's just, I like genuine friendship and genuine relationship. And if I can alleviate that from the beginning and understand, you know, they see who I am as a person, and then they be like, oh, okay, well, I don't care.
Right.
I mean, I got a lot of friends is not into church and
Right.
whatnot. One of my friends, he's a Buddhist, but he's like,
One of your coolest friends.
yeah, like one of my homeboys. Like I consider him as a big brother, from New York or whatever. But he's a stand-up dude. But and you know, we'll go back and forth. It sound like we fighting about an argument and whatnot, but we check each other, and it's still all love.
If you had to talk to some of the young people that are coming up as PKs, I don't care if it's a small church or a mega church or whatever, what would you tell them in respect of how to move? How should they move being a PK, like in the world,
Gotcha.
in the world, you know, high school, junior high, so on and so forth.
First, know yourself. Don't try to be like somebody else. Or don't try to live up what people think you're supposed to be. Second, know God for yourself. Well, let's reverse that. Know God for yourself first. Then be yourself and believe in yourself. And just be cautious of who you let in your circle, because everybody is not going to be your friend. And sometimes you have friends that turn into your enemy. So you just got to be ready for that. I try to instill that into both my kids, my son and my daughter. I was like, hey, don't be so easy to befriend somebody until you really get to know them. They just gotta, and it's a learning curve.
Did you have to grow up quick though? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when I say grow up quick, I mean like, because you're in this family that's known throughout the world, you growing up quick. Did you miss something though?
I grew up quick in a couple of ways. One, because of things of what I was supposed to, as I saying, traveling the world, seeing different things, going to Africa, seeing how it is over there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people get the stereotype of, oh, Africa, poor country, the bushes and all that stuff. No, Africa is one of the richest countries in the world. Now, throughout the years, people came in and kind of just raped the country or whatnot.
Natural resources.
Right. But they still one of the richest country in the world. They got so many minerals and resources there that it's unbelievable. Like even Uganda, the world get a third of its coffee from Uganda.
Isn't that something?
It's crazy.
They try to say Colombia, right?
Right.
That it's just Colombia, but
Nah.
you know it for a fact.
Know it for a fact.
Right.
So being exposed to that at a young age, and then I had my son at 17, so I was still in high school.
Well, hold up. The PK in the dollar house
Yep.
has a baby. What was that like for you? Not for the family, not for dad, mom, sisters, brothers. I'm saying for you. What was that like for you?
It was rough because I knew that I had to grow up real quick.
Ooh.
I had to have a job. I had to make sure he's getting, Pampers, food, all that type of stuff. And I was playing sports. So my dad, me and him worked out a deal. If I was playing sports, he'd help pay, my insurance on my car, give me gas money, all that type of stuff.
Some need stuff,
right.
Not so much want.
Money for if I got for milk and all that type of stuff. And then if I'm not playing sports, you gotta have a job. And when I found out, and it's crazy to sound, my dad was the first person I called.
That's dope.
And first thing he say, yeah, I already knew. And I'm like, how? God told me. I said, I'm about tired of you and God talking about me.
Well, if you knew, why didn't you tell me before?
He said he told me. And he probably did. I just wasn't listening.
Okay, he said, don't go on over there and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah.
He did. And I remember, and now when he said it, I remember he said, you remember the conversation? I said, if you keep, be out there, you're going to have a boy. And sure enough,
You had a boy.
I had a boy.
Wow.
And But my family been very supportive.
Of course, I could tell that. I can tell that they're just regular people
Right.
that operate in the way they operate as under shepherds of the church.
Right.
I definitely could tell that. But being a youngster under their kids is like the thing that I want to know about. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? What makes you tick? What makes you where you are today?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like most people would think a pastor would kick their child out the house or disown them. You're embarrassing the family. And that's why I wanted to find out where was you at with that. Did you automatically feel that? Did you automatically say, oh man, people are gonna think this? You know?
You
didn't care.
I didn't care. I had an attitude of like, I don't care.
Right.
And
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And, you know, a lot of people don't even know what I'm about to say. But I came to the picture when I was 12.
Right.
It was probably the right time for me it started off as a mentorship with my dad, and then it turned into, by the time I turned 16, it turned into, you know,
What it was supposed to be.
what it's supposed to be. And so going from birth all the way up to 12 years old, being exposed to, like, I always hung around older kids.
Oh, okay.
So I had to fight. I was fighting every day.
So don't mess with you.
Yeah, I literally was fighting every day because I was the smallest one out of the group, and it was like two Jeremys in the group, and they called me Little Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
So I was a runt out the group,
Yeah.
but they knew if you hang around us, so people would just pick a fight with me and think I wasn't gonna fight them back, and they were like, okay, you gonna see what happened. And then if somebody older jump in, they fighting them. But from that time, and I think at that point, at about 12, my mom knew she couldn't handle me no more because she was like,
You was off the chain.
I was off the chain, and I had a bad temper when I was younger.
Where did the temper come from, you think? Being bullied?
I wouldn't say being bullied. People tried at me. Of course, oh, you light-skinned pretty boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm bloody, bleeding, or whatever, or bruised up. I'm gonna fight you.
Red bone.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight you. But
Would that be in some way considered being bullied in some way?
yeah,
Yeah.
even to this day, folks like white boy or
Really?
light skin. I'm like, okay. And friends that know me like, yeah, that ain't what you want. And even, you know, Drake had that line in his song, yeah, I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark. And you can ask any of my friends, they was like, man, you should have trademarked that because you was saying that way before Drake even said that.
Before he got it out, because
Yeah.
he's younger.
Right. So, but yeah, going through that, and then, you know, when they came to my life and I started seeing like, okay, I was how they say, I was already trained up in one way, and they had to break that mold.
Wow.
Until it comes to.
So there's a lot of, in the beginning years, there's a lot of back and forth. Some would call it arguments. Someone would say, why did you do this?
Right.
Or why did you take him in? What was that like for you, knowing that you was challenged in a way that you really needed it, but you maybe didn't receive it all the way?
Nah, nobody ever questioned them why they took him in. And my parents to this day will fight you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm their child. I got two moms and I got one dad. The other guy I call my sperm donor is my sperm donor.
Okay.
And I just thank God he went in my life because I wouldn't have been where I'm at today or
Right.
got brought into a situation like.
Right. That's what makes you a great dad.
Right.
You know?
Because I promised myself I will always take care of my kids.
You know, the reason why I asked it that way is only because I know when someone either fosters or adopts a child, that child is dealing with a lot of emotional issues. And sometimes young people don't want to do the right thing because they think it's the wrong thing, meaning you're just trying to change me. You
Right.
just want me to be like you. You know, when obviously we know today that was not the issue.
Right.
So that's why I wonder if you had the back and forth.
Nah, it wasn't no back and forth. It just took me a long time to really talk to him because
Okay.
I was already had that wall up. And I think me coming from saying earlier about trusting people, at a younger age, it was just me and my mom. So I wasn't trusting a lot of folks.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just me and my mom because she was in the military.
Okay.
So it was just like I was actually already kind of grown. I was, you know how they had to.
So you was, excuse me, military black brat
Yeah.
to PK.
Yeah. I was born in
Wow.
Killeen, Texas, Fort Hood.
Wow.
And I moved here when I was 1. Then I moved to Germany, whatever time, stayed there for 3 years, and then we came back here.
So you always been traveling.
I guess you
You've
could say
always
that.
been a traveler, like,
Yeah.
you know, like moving around the globe.
Yeah.
Like a globe trotter.
Yeah. But I started kindergarten here, and, you know, I'm from Atlanta, because that's all I know.
So do you think in meeting your mom and dad, do you think that is what puts you to being more business-like, more business-oriented, or was that always in you, just not chipped away to you're a businessman?
I think it was always in me, for simple fact, you know, back in the days, I used to sell candy at school.
Wow, you know I did that too.
Hey, it was a good hustle.
I went to a predominantly white school up in Boston, in Natick, Mass. And my sister, who's older than me, she did it at Sudbury, in Sudbury, Lincoln Sudbury High, and even, Lincoln Sudbury High. And she sold candy. And then I saw her selling candy, and then I sold candy. And I made a lot of money.
Man, I made so much money. And my mom used to tell me, like, if you get caught, I don't know nothing about it. I'm like, you the one taking me go and buy this candy. She was like, I don't know nothing about it. And I was making $150 a week.
Yeah, I was making a lot of money, bro.
So it went from that, and then I was 16, and every time I go out of town with my dad, I always rate the vending machine. So he was like, man, you need to open your own vending machine business. And I was like, that's when the light bulb sparked. And I was like,
that's when the real business, like,
right.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right. So I did some research and all that stuff, and you know, he helped me buy the machines, help show
Gave
me
you seed funding.
right, and showed me how to budget out. You know, taking your replacement costs. You can't touch that. Put the
Right.
replacement
Put that
costs to the
back
side.
in.
Right. And this is your save this,
That's
save
good.
that. But I mean, that I did that from 16 to what, 20 something, like 20, 21. But I mean, it helped out when I was, you know, in school, in college and whatnot, and I needed funds. You know, I can always still had my vending machines working while I was in school.
I gotta ask this question. I know your mom and dad from like afar, but still, when I was there all the time, I was very close because I worked with the media ministry. Being your age, you hear these things about mom and dad. What does this do to you, like in your mind as a young black man living in America, and you know that's not what they're doing? Like, you know that they're not trying to hurt people, but you see all of these things in the news or people talking about whatever they say. Like, you know, pastor would say something like, yeah, my last name is Dollar. What's wrong with that?
Right.
You know, so what is that like for you? Like literally, I need you to tell me, what is that really like for you? Is there anger?
When I was younger, it was anger. The older I get, it was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Because even with this life of social media, you can't believe everything that's on social media. And I do graphics and stuff, so I know you can edit a graphic, you can edit a video, you can Photoshop it, you can cut this, add this together, and try to make this
and
so-called
produce it the way you want it to
right.
come out.
And even my dad would help me because I was like, man, why you should say something. He was like, no. And then one time I saw him say something, and that's when I realized.
Say something. Can you explain what that means?
So it was during the time when I forgot the guy named the U.S. Senate was trying to say.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And my dad.
He was going for all of the
mega church.
Right. Prosperity
right.
preachers.
So that.
Grassley.
Yeah.
Grassley.
That day I saw my dad, a whole nother person came out. He was like, because he never would do interviews. He hated interviews.
I remember that.
And that day he was like, you want to interview? Show up here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. in my studio. He had Channel 5 at this time, Channel 11 this time, Channel 2
Whoever
this
wanted
time.
to be there, they was there.
Yeah, back to back.
Several.
Back to back.
So he did separate interviews.
Separate interviews for each one of them.
Wow.
And then he went to CNN and did an interview
I remember
there.
that.
And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, they don't want none of you.
Uh-huh.
And he'll do interviews now or whatnot, or he's fine with it. But back then he wouldn't do an interview because growing up and definitely being around like TV industry, whatnot.
Yeah.
That I know people can cut stuff.
Yeah.
And like we just said, like
Yeah.
they can manipulate it whatever they want.
Right, that's what
But
they
when
do.
it's live, they can't touch
No.
it.
Right. If it's
So-
live, that's
yeah,
live.
and that's what he told me. He said, I want it live.
right.
So
nothing
you
is
can't
cut.
edit it. I
Right.
want it live so everybody can see.
Right. So for you, I'm trying to really get a sense on how you was feeling and what this stuff that was going on, what it did to you as a man or a young man, because I think you was in your 20s maybe around that time, the
Yeah.
Grassley thing.
By the time, when I was young, like a teenager, somebody says about my dad, I'm fighting.
Okay.
I remember one time I was at Lenox Mall going to find a prom suit. I think it was 11th grade prom. Or was it 12th grade? 1 and 2. I forgot what it was. Went to the store. It used to be a suit shop right at the
Right.
bottom, right about the middle escalator.
Yeah, I remember.
And they had another shop they owned upstairs.
Okay.
So I went in there. My dad said, just go find a suit, get everything together, and we'll go back and I'll pay for it. I said, cool. Found this nice suit. And so the guy was like, man, that's an expensive suit. I was like, okay. I said, can you hold this for me? I'll be back this week. My dad'll pay for it if you could just hold it. He said, okay.
At this time, they don't know you're a dollar.
Right. They don't know
They
nothing
just
at all.
know you're a person that's coming in getting, okay, I'm
Right.
with you.
Young dude, 17 years old, 16 years old, coming in buying a
Expensive
expensive
suit.
suit. So, again, he was like, man, it's a very expensive suit. He was like, I said, my dad's fine. He's going to pay for it. He was like, well, if you don't mind, who's your father? And I told him, man, he was like, well, if you don't mind me saying this, I think your dad's a real big con artist. When I tell you, I about tore that store up, and they had to grab me.
So he had no respect for you, even though Pastor's not that, right?
Right,
But if he was, it don't have nothing to do with you.
right,
Because you're a child.
right,
So he had no remorse. He had no thought, like, he shouldn't have been talking to you that way.
right. And he don't know me from
Can of paint.
can of paint
Or your dad.
or my dad, but he didn't know I was the one that would fight. So end up telling my dad. He knew the owner. He said something to him. I don't know what happened with the guy. I end up leaving the store, going down to another suit store. And matter of fact, it was a Versace suit. And I went to the Versace store, found the same exact suit. Told the guy, I said, look, I'm going to come back with my dad. He's going to purchase everything. Can you just hold it for me? He said, yeah, I got you. Man, we went back. He said, my friend, you in luck. Half off on the suit.
Wow.
Got the suit, and I paid half off. But the simple fact, and the crazy thing is that, of course, the guy he might have been Arabic or whatever, but the guy from the suit store was black.
Wow.
I got better treatment from
A different
a different culture than my own culture.
Right. Yeah, that's why I wondered, even with your sisters and your brothers, I mean, that's your mom and your dad.
Right.
Like, people hear stuff, but they don't know the reality,
Right.
And it does hurt. I mean, away from what they said about dad, it hurts you personally. And that's why I wondered for you, why did you think people were doing that to you back then? Because I know now you're a grown man and it's in one ear out the other,
Right.
even though if they push you too far, you're going to pull it out on them.
Yeah.
Meaning the fist,
Yeah.
right? What is it? What is?
I don't know why they thought they can say that, and people are gonna say what they're gonna say. But it took me time and years to learn that just because somebody say something don't mean I gotta react a negative way.
Wow. And you're 17, 16.
I was 16 years old. And at that
16.
time, my temple was,
You still like that.
oh no, I was off the
Put
chain.
the dukes up, let's
Right.
get it on.
Yeah.
Like you was not like
Nah.
churchy.
Nah.
Right.
I never really been churchy.
Right, I knew that.
Yeah. Nah, it'll come. It's funny, my uncle would tell me, he was like, but for you not to be really churchy, it comes out when you need to come out. And you say it in a way that people can understand it.
That's dope.
And that's why I think, me doing the things I'm doing now, working the outreach and community stuff, is like, I can say the stuff that people can understand instead of it being, thus said the Lord, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
Revelations such and
Right,
such,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know I got the word in me, and
Yeah.
it comes out when it need to come out.
Right. When we first engaged talking about doing this interview, I told you I was a director of the youth at a church that I was a member at in Boston. And I was like the assistant to the pastor, like one of his assistants. And I was always cool with what you'd say preacher kid. So I understand it. I get it. It's like people have their certain, the way they see a person, and they think that the child is the same way. So then the PK is like, look, man, I ain't my mom, I ain't my daddy. You better back up off of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted you to tell me that story. Like, what is that really, what was that feeling like? So maybe you going into business situations that has nothing to do with the church, like what you do, what the clubs and things of that nature, where it's positive, it's not raunchy stuff.
Right.
What is that like for you? How does that translate to who you are as a businessman, knowing that you come from this, but now you're being your own man. You're in your 40s now.
Right.
Like you have children. You got to take care of your children. And you're not trying to preach, I don't think.
Nah,
Are you? Right.
nah.
That's not your thing.
I would say it's preaching another way, preaching in the streets.
That's what
all
you
the things
do.
they're doing, like food programs, or my nonprofit organization called Lace Up for Kids, provide underprivileged kids sneakers and homeless people.
Yeah.
To me, that's a form of preaching, because people, even the homeless people will pass over the homeless real quick. But if I have an unction to give, I'll give. Prime example, me and my
Unction, ladies and gentlemen, the Holy Spirit is talking to him, and the Holy Spirit is saying to him, you need to do something about this. That's what you mean,
Right.
the unction of
Right.
the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Saying, hey, and the unction really is some people might think, oh, unction, man, you crazy. No, but we all have that. Some people call it
intuition, or
right. That's what they
yeah,
call it.
yeah.
Right.
One time, me and my business partner, Kofi, we was in the beginning stage of this Late Stuff for Kids. Idea that we was having about giving out sneakers to kids, and we was going to a bar, going to go chill, talk some business, whatnot, and I'm parking the car. He come over there. He was like, "Hey, JD, you got some shoes in the car?" He said, I know you got some shoes in the car." I was like, "Yeah, why?" He was like, "Well, you see the guy right there? The guy name was Will." He was like, he wear size 10. That's the size I wear. He said, right now he on size 12.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, cool. Go to the trunk. I had a brand new Nike boots, the
Wow.
ACGs. Ain't even wore 'em. And it was some Nike Air Max 90s. I wore them maybe a couple times. They were still looking new. So I was like, hey, Will, come here. I said, you wear size 10, don't you? He was like, yeah. I said, take them shoes off. He goes, 2 shoes for you. He was like, you for real? I said, yeah. And he was like, man, I appreciate you so much, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward a couple months later, maybe like 3 months later, I'm in London, and Kofi hit me up, and he was like, hey, bro, you ain't gonna believe this. I was like, what? He said, man, somebody jacked Will for his shoes. I was like, is Will okay? He was like, yeah, they just stole the Nike shoes, the Nike boots out of his bag. I was like, man. So for like, I kept trying to find them. We kept trying to find them for like 9 months. Couldn't find them. One day, same spot, I look and I see him sitting in the chair in the same parking lot. I was like, Will. He ran over there, gave me a hug, gave us a hug. I said, bro, where you been? He was like, man, I was locked up. You know, I was having suicidal thoughts. And he said, I thought about y'all. And that's what made me not do it. You know, that man still had the same shoe, Nike Air Max 90s I gave him. They was all beat up by that time. He had the same shoes. And I was like, Will, I got something for you. So I end up going in the trunk, give him another pair of brand new Nike Air Maxes. By the time I think it was Air Max 97s. Gave him those.
Wow.
Gave him a lace-up shirt or whatnot. And I said, you hungry? He said, yeah, I'm hungry. I ain't got nothing to eat. I said, here go $20. And he's like, I'm about to go to Quick Trip. I said, no, don't go to Quick Trip. I went inside, bought him some food. I said, here you go. I said, now, what I need for you to do is pay it forward. The old shoes I gave you, bless somebody else on the streets for it.
Right.
And
because shoes are needed.
Right.
Those are needed on the street.
Yeah. And,
homeless meaning.
Yeah. And, you know, that blessed me more than anything. It was like, I felt like it was Christmas and I was, you know, handing out gifts because it's like he really needed them.
Right.
And he really cherished those shoes I gave him.
He kept them.
He kept them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So now that you shifted from what you was doing primarily at the church, you're doing the consulting thing.
Right.
Why consulting and not the other business? Why consulting?
Because it frees me up to do more things. All my time don't have to be at one particular place. I can do multiple things at one time. I could do stuff for, you know, outreach at the church, for outreach initiatives at the church. I can do my own organization stuff, and other things where, you know, all together, it'll take care of me while I'm take care of the community.
Right. That's good. So you know, when you say consulting in what capacity of consulting?
Leadership, management, or you know, production, video editing, or graphics, or outreach initiatives that you might have something going on, or like somebody might be running on a political campaign, and I help them out to coordinate.
Because you know a whole lot of people.
Right.
And you know how to connect the dots.
Right.
And just me knowing you, I mean, when I was at World Changers all the time, I always saw you there. Never really interacted because I'm much older than you, of course. But right away when we saw each other at an event that was down
At the Hip Hop Museum. Yeah.
Hip Hop Museum near the Underground.
Yep.
Right away it was like a click right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know you have the knack to kind of bring people together. And doing consulting, that is perfect for your personality, bro. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, you told me you know something about some YouTube and how to do all of that. How did you get to know all of that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I just researched, watched different things, watched YouTube videos, talking to people that do it. And I've always been like that. If I sit with somebody or a contractor, if they was working on something at the house, I'm sitting there watching them, and I can pretty much reproduce what they did. To the point my parents would call me, hey, this not working. I was like, well, do this, this, and this. That ain't work. I'm on the way. I go there, 2 minutes, bam, my dad be so mad, like, stop doing that. Show me what you did. He said, yo, you move so fast. How am I gonna learn this? I'm like, you'll be all right.
Right, right.
But I always had a knack of doing it. And actually the consulting thing was, my dad is the one who gave me the idea. He was like, you know, you should start your own consulting company. You can, you know, you do this and this and do well. And I was like, all right.
I mean, you know a lot of people, man. I mean, we don't talk about Rolodexes no more, but in your phone, you know so many different people. And I don't want to say it like you know these people because your dad and your mom. No, you're like a trailblazer, a globetrotter. You move around away from them and you make things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's easy for me to like sit back and say, yo, that dude gonna do good because he knows how to talk with people. He knows how to bring people together, and he's humble. Like, being humble is the greatest gift that I think anybody can have, is to be humble.
Right.
You know, do you agree?
Yeah, because I'm not a flashy person. I mean, yeah, I have access to, you know, things a lot of people don't have access to, but I've never been that person. I'd rather be a genuine person, and if I rock with you, I rock with you. If I don't rock with you, I don't rock with you. And I think it's more for mental health for me and just anybody, because, you know, and I see more and more people, especially black men, that's talking about, you know, they had a suicide thought or they had a gun to their head and all that type of stuff. And I've been there.
Gun to the head?
No, so I was stressed out.
Age? I mean,
No,
say whatever you feel.
No, it was 2017.
Okay.
Or 16. 1 and 2.
So just before the big COVID stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I was stressed out from just work, trying to run
Wow.
a worldwide ministry, you know, and I was stressed out from when I was married. It was just like, it was stressful there. Then it was, I would say 33% of work, 33% of marriage, and 33% of trying to figure out who was Jeremy. Besides the last name, who is Jeremy as a person? And I just like, man, bump it. And I took a whole bunch of sleeping pills, took the whole bottle. And, you know, folks was looking for me and everything. And fast forward, I ended up hallucinating like crazy, called my homeboy Kofi, and he said, where you at? And I guess I must have told him where I was, but I don't remember.
Wow.
But you can barely hear me because my throat was closing up. Like, if he hadn't, I knew it was God, one, for me to call him. And two, for him to find me, because I ended up walking across the street to this Target because my phone went dead.
Wow.
I went there and bought a bottle of water. Why I bought some underwears, I don't know. Some underwears I don't even wear that type. And I thought about a wall charger, but I bought a car charger, and I ain't have my car
Wow.
with me. So sitting there hallucinating, and I see him walking across. I was sitting in this little Starbucks part, and I see him walk across the window. And I was telling my homeboy who I thought was with me, like, hey, there go Kof right there. And
You thought?
I thought.
Because you was hallucinating.
I was hallucinating.
Wow.
Like how we talking?
Yeah.
And I might turn my head, turn back,
Yeah.
and you ain't there.
Right.
And it was multiple times while I was in Target,
Movie.
which I'm surprised they ain't called the cops on me.
Yeah, that's a movie you're telling me right now.
Right. So
Wow.
see Kofi walk back in, walk towards the parking lot to the car because he walked out. So I told my homeboy, I said, hey man, let's go catch up with Kofi. So I'm grabbing my bag, and then I look up, he's not even there.
Kofi's not there.
No, my other friend wasn't there.
The hallucination.
The hallucination wasn't there. So I'm walking, I walk outside, and Kofi got in the car, and he said, he had told me this, he was like, Lord, help me find him. As soon as he said, Lord, help me find him, I opened his passenger door and sat down.
Hold on, say that one more time.
He said, Lord, help me find him. And as soon as he finished that prayer, or said, help me find him, I opened it. He didn't even say amen. He told me he didn't even say amen yet. And I opened the door and I sat down. And of course he was cussing me out. But then when he looked at me, he was like, something ain't right.
Wow.
Because my eyes was all dilated. And, you know, I'm like going in and out and stuff. So end up getting me to where the other friends was at. And then one of the guys was like, hey, something ain't right. He didn't go to the hospital. So they put me in the paramedics, and it was down the street from the church. And so my dad came because he just got finished ministering.
Wow.
And he walked by, and I thought I was hallucinating. My dad told me no, he really was there. He had put his hand on my knee, and he was like, he saw me, but he saw something else in front of me.
Some certain spirit.
Yeah, he was like an evil spirit in front of me. And he said my eyes was dilated, and I guess I started breathing crazy, and they had to take me to the emergency room or whatnot. And my equilibrium was off. My balance was off for like 2.5 days. Like 2.5 days. I could not walk without falling. Ended up leaving there, and they had to go to a behavior place for like 5 days. So when I got in there, I'm in the room. I'm in the I guess the process area, the checking in. You know, I'm taking out shoestrings out my shoes, taking the shoestrings out my. I think I had some I had some shorts on. I had to pull out that. And I go into the area, they call it the transition area. So it's glass, but it's like you gotta get buzzed in, all that type of stuff. So I'm sitting
It's
at
like lockup, but it's not lockup.
yeah. So I never been locked. God, thank you. I've never been locked up before. I should have many times, but never got locked up before. But I watched a lot. I've seen a lot of prison movies. I've seen a lot of jail shows, whatnot.
You, right.
And I'm like, so I'm in there like, man. I see a dude outside. He got on a little nightgown, and he looking off into the space and stuff. I'm like, oh man. I said, it's real.
Yes, sir.
So I was like, man. So while I'm sitting there, I'm going around the room like, who I had to fight? So I'm picking out the people I know I'm had to fight just to show, don't mess with me. And I told her, I said, God, I said, you better say something because I'm at the end.
Wow.
And like we talking, I hear him say, I love you, therefore you love yourself. And don't nobody else love you. No, I love you and you love yourself. And in my mind, I had this delusion that nobody loved me, they didn't care, whatnot.
This is before the pills.
Yeah, before the pills, I had this thought because I was just so inundated.
The spirit.
Yeah, I was so stressed out and stuff.
The negative spirit that was around you.
Right.
Made you thinking this.
Right.
Made you think these things. Yeah.
Right. And so I end up going through the thing, coming cool with all the people. End up
Not having to fight.
I ain't had to fight nobody. I became the plug in there because I was, I would tell my mom like, "Hey, bring some candy," and I had to leave it at the front desk. So folks like, "You got some candy?" I said, "Go talk to them at the front desk and tell them to get them out of my stash."
So still thinking about others.
Right. End up that Friday night. I got out. I went on a Tuesday. I got out on a Sunday. That Friday, I asked the lady. I was in there playing spades, playing basketball, because my blood pressure was so high.
Wow.
One of the ladies was a nurse, and she was like, "Jim, let me talk to you for a minute." So she take me to the little side hallway, and she was like, "I go to the church. You good?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good." She was like, "You gotta get your blood pressure down." I said, "Well, I'm in a stressful environment, and normally I would work out to relieve my stress." I'm like, "I'm locked up in here." So I end up playing basketball, and I did, the guy was like, "Okay, you can play." So the guy who ran the gym used to come and get me out my unit every day, like, "You wanna play ball?" Yeah.
That's good.
So I go play ball, play space. So that Friday, I talked to the lady who's one of the technicians or the counselors, whatever. We were playing spades with other group of people. I said, "How can I buy pizza for the whole unit?" And she was like, "Well, I'll talk to the head nurse that night." And she said, "It's okay." Then it's okay. She was like, "But you had to get somebody outside to order it and get it delivered." So that Friday night, we playing spades, and the guy came and said, "You Jeremy?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "The pizza in front, they about to bring it back here." I said, "Okay, cool." They brought it back there, had pizza, soda, whatnot, and one of the guys was like, "Who ordered pizza?" And the guy who I thought I really gonna have to fight, we became good friends. He was like, "The plug over here." So, because the food was nasty there. It was so nasty.
So they gave you your nickname.
Yeah.
Plug.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there shame? Was there shame in your spirit? Like, was there shame like, man, why would I do that? Or what, was there any shame of taking pills?
Because I was at the end of the rope. It's like, it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Because
When I say shame, I mean once you came out of everything. You never, huh? That's good, man.
my dad told me when I got out, he was like, he every day was hanging out and he just talked to me, and he was like, take your, take your trials and tribulation and make it to a testimony for somebody else. And sure enough, one of my best friends who was going through something, who's a PK, the whole week I was locked up, he was calling me, but I ain't have my cell phone.
Oh.
So that Sunday, I go get my phone. I think I talked to him that Monday, and he was like, "Man, I've been calling you." I was like, "Bro, this was going on." So he called our other homeboy who's a PK who connected both of us together. And we all talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I need y'all out here." So I told my dad, told him the story, and he was like, "I don't care what you gotta do. Y'all get out there." So I told myself cause he said we're gonna meet in LA. He was like, here go the credit card, get your hotel room, get your plane ticket, tell which car to stay with you at the hotel. Y'all get a double bedroom. I said, cool. I stayed out there for like maybe 4 or 5 days, and and I knew I should have been out there, and we all knew we were supposed to be together because it was helping each other go through whatever stuff we was going through and getting off our chest, but still rely on each other. So I was never ashamed. I just say black men need to talk. And not even black men, black people need to talk. Because they think it's a shame. What's that? Sounds a shame. Yeah. Nah.
It's real life.
Yeah, you gotta get off your chest. And I'm not scared to tell, the truth and my story about it.
Open and honest and transparent.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, I can go on and on with you, man. I think, who you are as a human being is just amazing. And to be able to be around all of these thousands and thousands of people traveling on planes, automobiles, so on and so forth, you're just normal, dude. And that's hard to come by in life, And I can't go any further and not say congratulations to your two sisters for getting Grammys.
Yeah.
That is amazing, man.
They went out there and did their thing and came back with 2 of them apiece.
2 apiece? Yes. Not 1.
But 2.
2 apiece.
Yeah.
And they did the work. Songwriters, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, they did. I'm so proud of them, just especially at their age, getting Grammys, because people older than them haven't got a Grammy yet, and they got a Grammy at the age they at.
Last question. How does it feel to be a dad?
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how does your kids take you as this cool dad?
They do, because a lot of their friends like, that's your brother? And they was like, no, that's my dad. Especially my son, because he's 25 and I'm 42. So we around each other. They was like, oh, that's your older brother. And he was like, no, that's my dad. And the dad? I'm like, yeah, I'm his dad.
That's dope.
But they could. I love my kids. I love them older because, we can hang out, have fun or whatnot. And of course, I love them when they was younger. Don't get me wrong. But I have more fun with them now because they start experiencing life and, they ask you, hey, Dad, what do you think about this right here? Or what should I do about this? This is what you should do. My daughter's at TSU right now. She's a sophomore, and she's just
killing it.
Yeah, she's a social butterfly. She's in all these different organizations and want to be in. She's in pre-med. Awesome. And my son, he has an eye. He's a photographer, videographer, and he's killing it. And he been doing photography. I think he got his first camera when he was 15, and ever since then he just been flourishing. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on you being a dad. Congratulations on just doing you, bro. And I'm glad you came and sat with us on If You Don't Know, Now You Know.
Thank you for having me.
And now we know.
Yep.
My man, Jeremy Dollar.
Thank you.